is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the In the Round podcast. You got Matt and Tyler.
What's up?
Still up in Delaware, still in quarantine, and we have with us over Skype today our good buddy, big-time Cardinals fan, a Missouri man, Mr. Matt Wynn. Matt, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right, man. How are you doing in Delaware?
We're doing good. Honestly, we're hanging in there. We're up here with some family. This is probably the longest time in a while that Boudreaux, an old Alabama guy, has been up in Yankee country. So
it's been 5 years. I spent 6 months in 2015 up here between Connecticut and southern New Jersey. So
yeah, but he's been up here now. We've been up here for over 6 weeks, or right around 6 weeks. So it's been a while. Now, have you been in Nashville this whole time, or have you been going back and forth from Missouri?
I've been in Nashville, man. And the biggest thing was, I live in Nashville, so I was, and I lived with my girlfriend, so we were here, and we didn't really, for a long time, for several weeks, there was really not a whole lot of information. There was basically just stay home, and then, my family, we had seen some people and stuff, and for a while, we didn't know who you were exposed to, for a little bit. So you kind of just stayed put. And we've just been here. It's one of the longest I probably went without at some point seeing my family, whether it was just passing through town or they were here or something. It's kind of odd because we missed Easter. We missed, I think Mother's Day, we're going to be able to get home for the first time.
That's
in
good.
A few months. But I was going to be on the road a lot, already, pretty much traveling a lot. So I wasn't going to be in town a ton anyway, but it wasn't supposed to be this long. So
yeah, it's a weird spot for all of us that are in the music game, whether it's crew members like myself and Tyler, guys that are in the industry that way, or of course artists like yourself who are out weekend warrioring it and out there writing, playing gigs in town, doing writers rounds, being around your crew, like even just hanging out in Midtown, like so many things that we take for granted, like those late nights at Red Door or Live Oak or places like that. Like the fact that we haven't had one of those and now it seems like forever. It's crazy,
It's odd, man. I was telling my girlfriend Katie the other day, we were just chatting about it, and I was like, man, it's odd that this is such a weird time to live in, because I feel like it's been going on for so long that it almost feels normal. Which is, it's not normal, but it feels like you just get used to it. I've seen people out and wearing masks and seeing other people with masks and realizing it, I don't know what live music is going to look like in the future. Just moving forward, like we were talking earlier, us before we started about caps, for major festivals and, guys who draw massive crowds like Aldine or something, going out. It's not like they're going to just all of a sudden be like, all right, you can go and play your stadiums, now. What's that going to look like? I don't know.
Yeah, dude, it's going to change the landscape, I'm sure. But so talking about you, so how long you been in Nashville? When did you make the move?
That's the question, isn't it? That's like the opener is that, and we should write sometime.
Yeah.
It's those two.
Didn't Ward make those shirts?
Yeah, I think Whiskey Jam has a shirt that says we should write sometime.
Yes. No, I think they do actually, and I love it. Because that's so funny, man. That's just for whatever reason, that's what people say. But I've been in Nashville about 5-6 years.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I started, I'm from Missouri and a big Cardinals fan, you can tell. And I started because Missouri, I'm from in a town about an hour outside of St. Louis called Flint Hill. It's a small farm town, about 600 people. And I first started taking trips because it wasn't very far. It was 5 hours, and it was all highway, so you could just pretty much drive blindfolded. There you don't have to only have to get off once or twice, and it's just onto a different highway.
Yeah.
So it's pretty, crazy. So I started taking trips, did that for maybe a year and a half. And then I had an opportunity with a friend of mine, Todd Hancock, who I had been staying with. He was nice enough to offer his room. I had so many friends and people like that who offered their extra room or a couch or, and I'm so grateful for that. But he was like, man, I don't normally like roommates, but I like you. He's like, you practically live here anyways. You want to just move in and throw me a little money for rent? And I was like, well, yeah, I'd love to. And I did that for about 3 years. And then a little over a year ago, my girlfriend moved to town and we got a place together, and it's been a really amazing ride.
Awesome, dude. That's great. That's a cool story, man. And so many people do that couch crashing thing when they move to Nashville, like initially. And people come from all over the place. People come as far north as New York, like myself, where there's a bunch of damn Yankees coming down. There's people coming up from Florida, people coming in from Texas. A lot of folks from Missouri too, which I did not realize until pretty recently. But a lot of guys like yourself, guys like Alec Davis, there's a lot of dudes that are Missouri guys that come to Nashville as well. So what was the music scene like for you growing up in Missouri? Like, were there spots that you would go and play and like gigs that you had before you moved to town?
Sure. Of course. I was traveling a little bit, especially in the Midwest, before I moved to town. I've been playing music full time, started like just in bars and all that crap since I was, so I did a little bit when I was 17, and then right when I turned 18, I pretty much was doing full time. And finding loopholes, to be in bars, where they would agree to hire me,
yeah.
Even though I wasn't 21, they're like, basically, if you don't cause any problems, you can be here, and it was like, so I'm thankful for that. I kept my nose pretty clean, but I a lot in St. Louis, would be like where you would play, like not just St. Louis City, but St. Louis, suburbs and stuff, whether it was bars, restaurants, wineries, a lot of that starting out. And then actually a lot, especially when I was even like late teens, a lot of like casinos and different things in town or other places that have, bigger artists coming to town, and they'd need like an opener or something. And either someone knew me or I knew them, or weaseled my way into those slots, and just got to open for a lot of people. And I met a lot of people that lived in Nashville, like bigger artists that were really really sweet to me. And everyone was like, you got to get to Nashville, you got to get there, you got to experience it, you got to move there. It's just, you hit and they're right, you hit a ceiling, in a local market or even a state market, but I mean, you can make an amazing living. No, don't get me wrong. Like I know guys that do it and they make tons of money, but it's, if you want to take it to the next place, a national place, a worldwide place, you got to go to the hub.
Absolutely. Now, being on the road as much as you are and doing those drives as a Midwestern guy, how good is Casey's Pizza? For those who don't know, like those late night spots, Casey's, I've learned, is like Casey's and Come and Go seem to be the Midwestern staples. Dude,
man, I'll tell you what. So where I grew up, Come and Go was not as common. There'd be a huge one every now and again. Casey's was the one that I was around all the time. Casey's, yeah, dude, their pizzas, it sounds crazy because it's just a gas station, but they're pretty much, like a lot of these gas stations, are because, who knows, I don't know if like electric, will take over, or a different fuel source eventually will switch over. There are a lot of these are transitioning into basically restaurants, and food suppliers, at least the smart ones, and then that's where they make their money anyway. It's not off the gas, really. So Casey's has got killer pizza, and I always get it every time I'm in town. Another one that's really great is Quick Trip. Do you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we've hit Quick Trip. We're 8 guys in a Sprinter when we're out on the road. So you see 8 dudes just roll in, and we go ham. And those
it actually scares people sometimes, because you'll see, like, especially before the show, you see a black Sprinter pull up to the front door. A door slings open. Me, Charlie, and like maybe like Gary or Lee will pop out, and it's just like we've scared some people.
Because we got guys in all shapes and sizes and stuff, but when we roll in, we're doing some damage at a Quick Trip or at a Come and Go or at a Casey's, And I'm sure you get it with being out on the road with your boys too. And those late night stops, they are essential, dude.
Loves for
they
me,
are, man. I mean, most of those, and it's most of those. The gigs, will end late, and when you strip everything down, pick everything up, it's even later, so those are the places that are open, that are like, fast food or anything. And it's hard for, me, I try to keep in good shape and, work out and eat as good as I can, because it's part of the image, but it's hard to eat healthy on the road.
Oh, dude,
yeah,
it is.
dude.
Some of our guys, they've started bringing coolers on the road and like meal prepping. Me and Tyler,
Yeah.
we're bigger dudes. But Tyler, after the show, we call it his chalky milk. He gets his chocolate milk on the road. Like we'll go in and get, and I'm a fiend for those Heath bars. And then if we hit like Tyler was gonna say that Loves and Flying J,
Pilot.
those pizzas when they come right out the oven, or if they got the little Debbie snacks, like you just want to be a bad
Dude,
boy after a show, you know?
There's been times that I have seen some guys in our crew, the angriest I've ever seen them, because some dude walked up. They were waiting in line for pizza. And they were waiting in line like you're supposed to, and some dude walked up and started yelling, "Yo, can I get all this pizza right here?" at like 3:00 in the morning. And they just kind of looked down at him, and he got all the pizza, and she was like, "I'm the only person here, I can't make more." And like that's probably been the angriest I've seen guys. Like
that's just that's a low move. Man,
yeah,
those truckers can lowball you, dude.
Man,
They can really hit you where it hurts.
Yeah, I mean, they don't mess around. That's where those guys thrive and live, you know. So I mean, they're just kind of like we run this place.
Yeah, you're in our house.
Truck stop.
So of all the places you've gotten to go on the road, do you have a favorite market that you like to hit, or like a place that was really cool, I want to go back?
Man, I mean, anywhere. Honestly, like there's so many great places for different reasons. I mean, anytime you're anywhere near home is always cool because even a state away or something, because you have so many people, friends and family come out, and usually there's and I don't get as home to play as often as I used to, it's more, it's those, bigger shows and things. So when I do, it's usually like just, you see a big crowd come out, you see all those people come out, and it's just really cool welcome, especially when it's near St. Louis, because that's where I started playing. That's where I grew up. That's where I built my following originally. That's really cool. I really like Kentucky a lot. For whatever reason, man, I just have a good fan base in that area, and like every time I go, it gets bigger, and the people there are so friendly, man.
The Kentucky crowds are awesome. Now, where in
Kentucky's awesome.
Where in Kentucky have you played?
I played in Sturgis, which I played in Paducah. There's a couple other small towns in there that I played in Lexington.
Lexington's a pretty cool time.
Where'd you play at in Lexington?
Dude, Lexington's awesome, man. I love that. Not just there's my favorite, one of my favorite distilleries is there too.
Which one?
We're gonna get on bourbon talk.
Kentucky bourbon. It's Lexington Distillery, but they make like the Kentucky Bourbon Barrel.
Yeah.
Beer, which is friggin' killer. And then they make my favorite bourbon, Town Branch bourbon.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever had it, man, but
I haven't had that one yet. For my birthday this year, me and my girlfriend went up there for an extended weekend, and we did 7 of the distilleries. We actually stayed kind of like 30 minutes outside of Lexington in a town called Stamping Ground, which is where they would like the buffalo before they'd go to the river would like stamp the ground there. So like they called it Stamping Ground, and we stayed actually in an old distillery that's now closed. We stayed in their their old office building that was built in like the 1890s. It was a really cool experience, man. Yeah, it's an Airbnb. It's really cool, man. If you ever like do that or something, like it's a really cool place to stay. It's actually pretty cheap.
Yeah, I've heard a bourbon tour is just awesome. I can't drink anymore. I ruined it for myself. I got in too early, developed a problem. I'm coming up on 4 years of sobriety here in a few weeks, which is awesome and great. But like these bourbon tours, the fact that Kentucky's right over, like it's not that far from Nashville. You can go. It's
not that far from Missouri either.
Yeah, or that far from Missouri, where you go right over the border and you can get the best bourbon in the world.
Dude, it's great, and man, congrats on sobriety.
Thank you, buddy.
That's amazing. Just because it's a lot harder than people think it is.
Especially in Nashville, Tennessee. There are some.
That's what I was gonna say.
It's a good time in Nashville, and I know we've had some good times out together, and we've had you play around at Live Oak, and we've seen you out and about and stuff. A lot of fun in Nashville, Tennessee, but you got to find your ways to get through it as a sober guy. So I've found my ways to do that, and it's been a good time. What do you remember your first night? This is a question we haven't asked in a lot of recent episodes, but do you remember the first night in Nashville that you don't remember?
Oh, that's a great question, man. You know, I'm trying to think because I'm I like to drink and everything. I've never had that party phase where I really go out and just like was just getting hammered every night. I've never been that guy because I was really focused, on what I was doing and what. But I mean, that being said, you always if I'm going to do that, I'm usually with like some of my closest people.
Yeah, who are some of the who's like your crew? Or when you get that text from somebody and you're like, okay, it's going to be a night. We're going to end up at Red Door. We're probably going to end up at Cookout. Who's that crew?
There's two. The first one that I think I remember was probably a couple of years ago, maybe a few years ago or something. It's hard to remember when. I just feel like I've always been here.
Yeah, Nashville days like blend into one. Months blend into a day, basically.
They do, and I think that the one that I remember distinctly, and there might have been one before it, was I think you guys know him, Justin Billeton.
Oh yeah, we had Justin. We've been doing these the social distancing sessions, like the live videos on the weekends here.
Yeah. And
we actually had Justin on last weekend.
Dude, that's great, man. Justin's like my big brother. He's friggin' killer. Me and him co-wrote I think like two or three of his singles, three of them together. And he's got a new one out that's awesome.
Yeah.
You guys got to take a listen. And me and him he's one of my oldest friends in Nashville, and he's just the salt of the earth kind of guy. But with him, I think we went out to, I think, Whiskey Jam, and it was to see our friend Jesse G. I don't know if you know Jesse. Jesse signed at Gretchen Wilson's record.
Oh, nice. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so Jesse's like my sister.
Yeah.
And Justin introduced me to Jesse. So, we were going out and seeing them, and I don't even think we really intended to go like really that hard. We were just going.
You never do, and then you walk in the door at Winners, and you got a friend on stage, and then Winners turns to Losers turns to Red Door, and then the night from there, who knows?
That's pretty much what happens, and I stayed at Justin's, and because his was right up the road. We just that was the first one I think I remember, and most of the other ones have been with Jesse. So,
here for the party in Gretchen Wilson style.
Dude, I'll tell you what, man, and I know Gretchen, and she's badass, she's cool, and man, but I'll tell you what, she could drink any one of us under the table.
Really? Damn.
Oh my God, man. It's unbelievable.
I've heard some of the stories of whenever her and the guys in Big and Rich and all that were kind of coming up on Broadway, and we're still playing out on Broadway at times. I've heard some stories of them, and yeah, I fully believe that she could drink anybody under the table that we've probably had on the show.
It's really impressive because I'm not lightweight by any means. It takes quite a bit to get me there, but man, she's got some years on me doing that. So, man, she's just a badass. I think the world of her. So, that whole crew, honestly, the Gretchen crew, the Music Mafia, crew of them, John, Rich, and Trent Tomlinson, who's a buddy of mine, who's also from Missouri, Kennett, Missouri.
Really, I didn't know Trent was from Missouri.
Yep, Trent's from Missouri.
That's awesome.
Kennett, Missouri, same town, actually same hometown as Kennett, at least in that general area, as David Nail and Sheryl Crow.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, so
everybody talks about Georgia and Texas and North Carolina. What about Missouri? Y'all got a lot of talent coming out of there.
For whatever reason, man, we fly under the radar, and I don't know why. But I mean, friggin' Walt Disney's from Missouri.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's there's a lot of random talent, random amazing talent. And there's a lot of really incredible music, talent, and too that is already established and that is coming up in the scene, and not a ton of people that I know are in Nashville from at least from my part of Missouri, but I bet several other ones. And it's just interesting because for whatever reason, people don't think a lot of Missouri people are here, but a lot of the people that they know, they don't realize are from there.
And honestly, it makes a lot of sense because, like, I know in my experience of driving across Missouri, it is kind of like North Carolina and Georgia and Alabama and all the other states that we highly regard for songwriters, because there's a lot of, like, country. There's a lot of, you know, small towns and stuff. I remember the first time I actually drove through Missouri, it was last summer. They were doing a ton of construction on like all the interstates in St. Louis, and we missed a turn in St. Louis and couldn't get turned back around to make it. And we ended up going like 2.5 hours out of our way, basically through. We were supposed to skirt up like the side of Missouri and go over because we were going to Des Moines, but instead we had to go into the middle of the state and then up. And there was just hours and hours and hours and hours of country and farm fields, and then more hours and hours. And then all of a sudden along the way, we found the American Gothic house just by luck. We somehow just went by it, and we're like, well, shit, we've been in the van for 8 hours in the country. There's nothing better to do. And then we just pull in, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, we're in Des Moines after 42 hours of farmland.
There's a lot of farm, you know, in a lot of farms in Missouri, especially depending on what part you're in. You know, there are certain parts of Missouri, if you miss your exit, you may not see another one for another 15 miles. Yeah. So be sure to pay attention.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. What's the did you play on the college circuit there at all? Did you ever go to Columbia? What's Mizzou like?
Mizzou, so I haven't played there a ton. I've visited and I played there a little bit, but I wasn't like a regular by any means, and not really on purpose. I just was always playing different markets. But Mizzou's great, man. I mean, it's a college town. The whole thing is built. That whole place is built around Mizzou. You know, I mean, and then there's other really cool stuff like Shakespeare's Pizza, and you know, a few other like really cool like spots to hit there. But man, those Mizzou guys and girls, man, they're intense.
They know how to party.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because we go to a lot of college towns, and I'm sure you do as well, where like we're talking about Lexington and places like that. And a lot of the Southerners give me shit over this, but I say one of my favorite college town experiences that I've had being out on the road and hanging out after a show, which we don't do a whole lot of that. Usually we end up at whatever city we're in. We end up at the Waffle House, and then we get down the road. That's like our mentality. But Manhattan, Kansas, I don't know if you've ever been. Kansas State, no. Manhattan, Kansas. Hidden fucking gem, dude. I very much enjoy Manhattan, Kansas. It's great. They have a thing called Aggieville, which is kind of like a mini Broadway. They've got like...
And I was saying Aggieville. I thought that was Texas A&M.
Yeah, like you think Aggies, you think Texas A&M, but they call it Aggieville, and the venue that we were at is called The Hat in Manhattan, and a lot of like Texas Red Dirt style guys play there, and we were there. It's a smaller room. It's like 300-400 people, but it's right on the strip. So you get out, you load out, you can just walk down the block, and there's just bars and college kids everywhere. We were literally
in the parking lot of the venue loading out, and there was like girls and other people like at the bar, literally on the other side of the parking lot, just yelling, "Hey, are y'all coming out?" Like blah blah blah.
They're very hospitable, and if you go out and hang out with them, they will treat you like one of their own.
And I've no doubt I've been to a lot of places like what you're describing where it's kind of just one of those towns in a state that no one really knows, you know, like unless you've been there, you know, or unless you pass through or whatever. And they're some of the nicest, coolest people that I've met. And Sturgis, Kentucky, I mentioned that was one of those places.
Where in Kentucky is that?
I would say it's not too far from Paducah. I mean, it's not close. It's probably I'm bad with direction. I can take you there, but I can never tell you how far everything is. You know, I can be like, "Come on," and they're like, "How do you get there?" "I'll take you." No, tell me how to get there. I'll take you.
Well, you go down to the third rock on the right and hang a left there, and then there's a tree, and you hang a right about 40 fence posts after that. You know,
it's exactly right. So, it's probably, I think it's like an hour maybe from Paducah.
And what was the venue like that you were playing out there? Is it a club? Is it a bar? What's the scene like out there?
Well, there's a couple spots. The place that we played was it was like a bull riding arena.
Oh, nice. Those places get wild. Those bull riding things. We've done some of those bulls, boots, barrels, or bands,
bulls, bands, and barrels.
Yeah, it's like they put a stage inside of like the riding arena or the ring or whatever.
They put it at the end of the arena, like the stage is at the end. But like they basically after the like riding's done, they open up the actual bull pit and like they open up the dirt and you go in there and like the stage is like at the end, but you're actually sitting where like all the events just happened. And I was running sound off an iPad, and about halfway through the concert, about 20 of the riders and cowboys got in a fight over a girl, and I got in the middle of that skirmish. Like literally, like I was just standing there, and a guy kind of like took a step to his right, and all of a sudden, like this dude just comes flying at me. He like hit me in my shins, almost took me out. I just kind of grabbed my iPad and like kind of backed out of it.
And Tyler's a big guy. Most bull riders aren't ginormous dudes. Sure. Tyler's like 6'4", so I remember watching it from Merchland. Like those cowboy folk, they get pretty wild. So those rodeo.
Actually, he snuck back in and then fought the cops.
Oh boy, they get crazy. That was down in Alabama though. That was
outside of Auburn.
That was also the same venue where there were people that at the meet and greet after they introduced us to their pet raccoon. They brought their pet raccoon with them.
Sounds like Alabama.
It's very much like that. So have you done a lot of like? So you talk about like the cowboy thing with that venue. What's that place like? What's that crowd like and interacting with like the Western style people?
Yeah, I mean the crowd's great. I mean it's just a bunch of like blue collar type folks. A lot of people work with their hands. I mean there's other people too, but it's that kind of crowd. That for me, and a lot of my songs are like working man. Anthem type stuff with a little bit of it's country with like a little bit of a rock edge. So. They love that, that kind of crowd for me is, that's the people that really loved my music. And, they were just great. I mean, before I came there, some of the people knew about me, but a lot of people that were there didn't know who I was. But when, I was at the meet and greet, I did meet and greets and then I was at the merch table afterwards, signing for like hours, so it was just, they were just incredibly warm and welcoming, and they actually, like a lot of people say they're going to follow you. They actually followed you, you know what I mean, on socials and stuff. And I saw a big bump on that, and it's just that and that means the most sometimes more than anybody, anything is just people coming up afterwards and saying how much they love it and supporting, buying a T-shirt or something, or just and then going after that and following you and following what you're doing. I always say I'm like you can tip me, that's great. And I'm like, and that's it's important, but I'm like the biggest thing you can do is go follow me and support on that, the social end, because that's, your reach is going to reach further than what I can do. And, I'm just going to keep it going.
Yeah, 100%. So you talk about more like that rock and blue collar style. For you, who are some of like your influences? Like who are some people that you were like fucking with from an early age, like you were jamming to? Sure.
My first two records I ever owned were Garth Brooks record called Scarecrow and a Beatles live anthology record.
Oh, nice. That's two very opposite ends of the spectrum too, which is cool.
Two very opposite ends of the spectrum, but it made me love songwriting. It made me love the writers. I got really curious about who was writing these songs and not just singing them all the time too. And that story aspect of country music, and that you can sing about and talk about different things that you can't in other genres. The Beatles had that too. And that's what made them unique, is that they were able to speak and talk about things in a way that spoke to everybody and not just, what that genre was supposed to be allowed to do or say.
Yeah.
And that was, one of the things that I think that made them as big as what they were, is the songs. It's always, to me, you can have a great singer, and they're great singers, and and I'm a singer and things like that, but I'm also a songwriter. If you can have a great singer and everything, and that's awesome, but the song is what matters. The song is what gives people that singer the material gives people that connection, they're going to remember that. You know, the songs are what matter, I think. And to me, those two records and those two artists have always been about the song. And so I grew up listening to like Travis Tritt and Phil Vassar and, you know, Tim McGraw. Rascal Flatts was one of the biggest things, you know, at the time of me growing up. And that was, you know, a big influence on me, especially vocally, just with what Gary does.
It's insane what he does vocally. Like, to think those guys have been around for so long, and the fact that I think now they're at that level where like they're announcing like farewell tours and things like that now. But to see the longevity and the different styles of songs and like the power that a band like Rascal Flatts had and still has to this day.
Also, how they even like, you know, at times were controversial, but they overcame that, you know, too, with the whole like music video thing that they did. And there was a couple other things, you know, where there was a lot of controversy, but it was cool to see them walk through that and kind of pave their own path through that.
No, you're right. I mean, and I admire him. I mean, it's hard to have, you know, success that is last, you know.
Yeah, a lot of one hit wonders in the world, you know. Lots of people that have that one song, and to be able to have a career to stay relevant as there's new people coming up and things like that, like you gotta respect that. Even guys like you talking about, like Travis Tritt, I mean, just freaking legend. And then Tim McGraw. I remember, what was the first Tim McGraw song you can remember? Like what's like, and I'm sure you play some covers out on the road too. Like, do you cover Tim McGraw?
Like, are you talking like the first record, you know, first time I remember like hearing them on the radio, like what song kind of thing? Or like,
I mean, honestly, if you had the CDs like growing up as a kid too, and you remember hearing them that way.
Well, so I think the first record of his that I really listened to like full through and just got me like hooked on what he did was that Set the Circus Down record.
Yeah. Yep. Same here, dude. Same here.
Yeah. Man. That record, dude, that record. And he does this with pretty much most of his records, and I will always support him and love him because he's about the song. It's about the song. It's always about the song. He's a great singer. He's a great stylist. He can make, you know, he's not really a writer. Like, he doesn't write a lot. He does some, but he's not like a big writer. But he's always about the song. He's a songwriter champion, you know, and that's what's really cool and I love about him.
Yeah.
And he's got that iconic thing. He comes on the radio, man, and you know exactly who it is. You know, and that's what is so cool about him. And that record in particular, but really all his records, they're great records. It's not just like a handful of really good songs.
It's a whole body. It's a whole body of work from top to bottom, which a lot of people aren't necessarily doing anymore. Like, the artists that are doing that really stand out because they're putting out records, and a lot of
times they are the songwriters too for those, you know. A lot of the guys that are putting out the full bodies of work a lot of times are the guys who are also writing the full bodies of work like that.
Yeah. I mean, and it's cool because it's, you know, he's a guy that cares about the full record. He understands, and a lot of people understand, especially writers, they understand that every song on their record is not going to be a number one song, you know, but every song on the record has to matter and be great, you know, and because there is potential that one of those songs that you don't think is going to be a big hit will be. You know, and I just, that record in particular, that Set That Circus Down record, man, that was one of my favorites. The song Angry All the Time.
Yeah, dude. Man, yeah.
And like Unbroken and.
Yeah, Unbroken's a really good one. Telluride's a really good one. Cowboy and Me, I believe, is on that one.
Well, that's one of my favorites.
Which is I don't know exactly who wrote that one, but Tim McGraw.
Jeffrey Steele.
Makes total sense now. Yeah.
Well, there was another writer too, but Jeff is
that's a legend.
It's a typical Jeffrey Steele song. The way he approached it, man, and I just grew to love what he does, and the songs matter, man, and they're memorable, and I think that's one of the reasons he's had such a long career, you know, and is still putting out hits, you know, is because the song matters, man.
Yeah, 100%. Now, Tim McGraw was actually my first concert. I was a little kid, and a lot of people don't think of country music being big up in like the Northeast and stuff. But I remember being a little kid, and my grandma's like '99 Ford Windstar, listening to all those songs and all those records and stuff. Do you remember your first concert, like your first time that you were exposed to like live music, and you were like, I can see myself doing this shit?
Oh, sure, man. I think that there's different moments throughout like your early life, even into high school, where you like think different things depending on what you're seeing. The first memory of live music, a full concert, was Toby Keith.
Oh, dude, Toby shows are fun. Which tour was that? What year was that one?
Man, I'm trying to remember what that was. It might have been the Shock and Y'all when that record came out. I think that's when that was.
Okay.
So he was like in the top of his game at that point. I think that was the first full record. The first time I ever like really remember though, like live music and just going, wow, was I was at a St. Louis Cardinals game, and Kenny Rogers came out and played the baseball song. I don't know if you know that song, the I am the greatest player of them all.
Yeah.
It's the baseball song. Ball goes up, ball goes down. And he came out and just him with his acoustic guitar. I was like 8, maybe. And he just played it, and I just thought, man, what a cool thing to be able to see. And now that especially he's passed away, and what a cool thing to be able to see and experience. And I thought, man, that I'm like, I was really little, but I was like, man, that would be something cool to do. And then got into high school and got into all sorts of playing and live music and things. But and there's different periods, I think, where you experience different things. But that, and then the Garth Brooks like CD collection where he played like in Ireland.
Yeah, the double live, bro.
Double
live, listening to the way, I mean, of course it's Garth, and he's a guy that I love and appreciate a tremendous amount, but the way that live record was mixed, it's unlike other live records. Like there's just this aura about it, and hearing those songs and his career, I mean, he took all that time off, and to have that much success and that many hits and songs that are just timeless in that short period of time is insane.
I mean, dude, it's like, he took like 14, 15 years off or something. And then he came back and it was like nothing changed.
Oh yeah.
I mean, in fact, it was probably even bigger.
Oh yeah. No, and I got to see 2 of those shows. So I used to do, when I was doing the radio thing up in Jersey, I got to cover a couple of those press conferences and got to attend those shows as a media guy, which is one of the perks. Radio is one of those things where you're overworked and underpaid, but you do it for the perks and you do it because you love it. And one of those perks was getting to hang out with Garth Brooks at Yankee Stadium, getting to see Garth Brooks at the Prudential Center, and to see a guy on what's supposed to be like his comeback tour where a lot of people didn't know what to expect, and he's just selling out stadiums nonstop. It's insane.
It's unbelievable, man. He's an animal, not just in country music, but in all of music. He's in his own category in the sense that he goes beyond country music. People that have never heard a country song know Friends in Low Places, and they know Garth Brooks. Like they know who that is, I mean, and it's just the reach and the career length and the connection that he's made to so many people of so many different demographics is really absolutely amazing. And honestly, if he hadn't came along, and influenced me like he did, I don't know if I would be doing what I'd be doing. And on top of that, I definitely know musically I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing.
Yeah, and honestly, as a whole, who knows where country music would be, Like they talk about like different chapters, and recently we've had the bro country, like pop country chapter, which isn't mine.
Sure.
It isn't my cup of tea. I'm sure it's not like necessarily your cup of tea, but again, it's a chapter. Like all different styles of music, especially within different formats and genres, come about for a certain reason, and one thing leads to another. And without a guy like Garth, who knows if you'd have Jason Aldean and Kenny Chesney selling out stadiums like they do,
I don't think you would.
No.
And that's just like, people can argue and say, oh, someone else would have came along and did that, but they didn't. And Garth was the guy that did it first. And who knows, without that initial wall breaking, that he did, because country music now, I mean, which is like you said, there are people selling out stadiums. I mean, and that was not even anything that was remotely a possibility.
The fact that he was able to go over to Ireland and sell out, like, I think it was like close to like 2 weeks straight, like every night in the same soccer stadium, which has like a ton of people. It's bigger than Nissan in Nashville. And to sell that out and have the crowd singing back every single word, it's like a rock concert, like a big time pop concert. Like the fact that you have that many people coming out to see it and they know every single word. They know every fucking word. Like it's crazy.
There's nothing like it. I mean, that's a God thing. I mean, his career and his life and just everything about it is just unbelievable. And I admire him a lot for remaining the person that he's remained through all of it. Because it's, it is very, and, I mean, everyone's going to have their share of, missteps and controversies and things of that nature. But I mean, overall, I mean, he's been a really great example of a human being, to not just, his people, but to his fans, man. I mean, there's probably nobody out there that treats their fans like he does.
Yeah, no, absolutely 100%. So for you, man, you do a lot on the songwriting side as well. You're a guy that gets talked about a lot as a writer in town, a guy that we love having not only play our rounds, but when we see you play at different places like Live Oak, Doghouse, wherever, like you're a guy that we love coming out to see. When did you kind of get started doing the writing process, and when did songwriting and writing your own material become a thing?
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And writing, I'd always, like, even when I was like, in grade school, I'd always kind of toyed with writing, and you kind of, everyone comes along to writing in a different way, and I liked writing. I loved music, and I was always singing and stuff like that. I don't think I really wrote. I think the first time I wrote like a full song front to back, and it wasn't just a start or a little section of something. It was full song front to back. Was my like freshman year in high school. And I wrote it in study hall.
Nice.
And, it was just, I'll never forget that. And I still have the lyrics written down and everything. And, it was just one of those things. And then from there, I had written a lot, not as much co-writing up until probably 18 or so, or 17, somewhere in that ballpark. And then when I came to Nashville, I started co-writing a lot. And that's when the songs really got great, I think. And really started to, become a better writer, because you learn from so many other people, and, you'll be amazed what you will write, and you never thought you would write anything like that, but it's great. It's constant growth.
Yeah. And our buddy Jordan Fletcher said it when we had him on the podcast. His goal is to be the worst writer in the room when he's co-writing with people. Like he wants to be with people that he knows can bring, because it's like playing up. Like say the Cardinals they're playing against, say they're in second place or third place, which they're gonna have a great year whenever baseball gets started. They have a great team. But say that it's like playing up, like playing up to your competition in a way, but like playing up to the quality of what's in the room, It's
the whole iron sharpens iron argument.
Yeah, iron sharpens iron for sure.
You're right. You're right, man. And that's a really well said, what Jordan said, because I think that every time where I felt like I became a better writer, and every time I think I wrote some of the best songs I've written, and didn't think I was uncomfortable. I was a little uncomfortable, in the room, like meaning like there was, because the people around me were so freaking talented, or they like didn't settle, they taught me, there's a handful of people that taught me don't settle, don't even realize you're settling, sometimes on a line or on a melody or anything. And not to necessarily have to push, there's always a day you can start something, make sure what you do and you is productive, and you don't have to write a song every day. Sometimes you don't get one, and sometimes you just get a start on something. And as long as each thing you're doing is great, and you're enjoying it, doesn't matter how much you get done in a day. Some days, that being said, some days you're just going to write a song in an hour, and for whatever reason, it just fell, in place. But I think that's exactly true. I love writing with people. You love it and you hate it, writing with people that are so amazing, and they're especially the guys, that have multiple hits, like my friends like Trent Tomlinson and Phil Vassar, and Jim Collins and Tim Nichols, and people like that who are, friends of mine that I write with. It's great writing with them because I learned so much, but it's a little scary, because they're so freaking good, that you're just kind of like, man, I hope that I come into the room and I actually got my stuff today.
Yeah, exactly, man. And then for 2020 right now, we know, as we talked about earlier, it's been one hell of a year already. A lot of weird, unprecedented shit, and you've had a lot of gigs that you were supposed to be out at and rescheduling and getting all that there. What do people have to look forward to for Matt Wynn the rest of 2020? I mean, I know shows are up in the air, but any chance of like new music? We're working on projects.
Yeah.
What do we got cooking?
Man, I'll tell you what, 2020, last year, like the last half of last year was like unbelievable for me. For shows, for songs, for connections, I started to get like this team around me that really believed in me and was supporting me. And this year, we were going into this year, we had been meeting like early in this year and late last year and stuff. We were meeting with a lot of major labels and doing that whole song and dance. And, and my producer, Cliff Downs, we worked on like a pitch project, which is like intended to be a record, at some point. And then when we were, in negotiations with labels and different people like that, and then all of a sudden the world stopped, and, I was going to, had meetings with various people and lined up, show runs with like Riley Green and, other people, friends of mine and stuff that were going to be amazing, and it still will happen. It's just going to, I don't know when, but I was telling him, talking to that with my producer the other day. I'm like, you have all this momentum and different things going, and all of a sudden everything closes down, and then you're just kind of like in limbo. And we have this pitch project, and we were waiting to see if like, a label, would pick us up, and that takes multiple meetings and like,
that's a whole process, an animal within itself. Yeah.
It is. And it's that from that side to the publishing side to all the things, that go into that. And it's a long process, man. It's not like one of those things you meet and then they're like, you're great, let's sign you right now. It can't happen. It's not going to probably, so, and it's just a long process, but we were doing a lot of that. And we were talking about this the other day, man. I'm good friends, and I know you guys, are buddies with the Muscadine Bloodline, folks, and I think they're so talented, and I know they're in with the Country Rebel Boys, which those guys are, my friends too. My
the Rebel Ranch up in Ashland City, right?
Yeah, man. And we got some videos that are going to be released coming up here, that we did and coordinated with them on and stuff, and those guys are just the best. So we have some of those. The songs that we recorded for the pitch project, we talked about, depending on when all this kind of gets out and everything starts going back in, that we release a single or two. We might have already done it. If a lot of this kind of hadn't stopped, and then like everyone's kind of in a mode where they're like waiting and seeing, where they're like, we just want to wait and see what's going to happen. Then, you don't really know, what's going to happen or when you're going to meet again or any of that stuff. And, I think we have some, that being said, I have some videos of them coming out, the Rebel guys. And then I have, some music that we're working on. I'm going to be doing a little work with some charity, organizations on a song of mine. Nice. called American Gold. And there's a lot in the works. But it's all like, doesn't really have a date on it yet.
All right, I got you. Yeah, I got you.
And we got some big announcements, and one on the publishing end, too, and some songs that are going places and things from the writer aspect.
Oh yeah.
I'm waiting to announce and waiting to see what happens, and so there's a lot up in the air, man. We're just right now trying to see what the world's going to do as far as just meeting with those people, and if we're just going to wait, or if we're going to just release a few things independently first and then go from there, because you just don't want to do the wrong thing. But
yeah, no, I know, dude. But dude, that's great that there's so much on the table right now. Like the wheels are moving right now, you know, and y'all are still keeping keeping grinding as much as you can while the world is, as you've said, like stopped. So, dude, I'm excited for the future, bro, and I can't wait for us to all get together down in Nashville, have a night out, hang out with you and Justin and that whole crew, and get all of us out in Midtown together. It'll be one hell of a time.
Dude, it'll be great, man. And I appreciate it. And I appreciate all you do, both you do for artists and songwriters, and not just on the podcast end, but, you know, when I met you all doing the round, you know, and everything. And I met so many people doing that. And it's just a really great thing that you all are doing. And we really, really appreciate it.
Hey, man, we appreciate you saying that, man. We're all about just hanging out with our buddies and having a damn good time. So Live Oak's a good place for us to do that, man. Well, bro, thank you so much for hanging out. Where can people go to follow you and keep up to date as all these announcements start coming out?
Amen, dude. So pretty much all my socials, like, I just started like the TikTok thing.
TikTok could be a big tool for you. Remember, you're old enough, you remember Vine. Vine, when that shit hit, guys like Luke, guys like Kane Brown, dudes like that. I mean, there's kids on there right now that are getting millions of views.
The thing that I love about TikTok the most is that it doesn't have an algorithm. So as long as you tag the For You page or the FYP in all your videos, it can show up. And all of a sudden, then, you know, you can wake up the next morning and have 100,000 views on a video and have so many followers, and you just don't know what's going to blow up. And like I said, it doesn't have an algorithm, so it's not like Facebook or Instagram where it closes off and wants you to pay money and all that kind of stuff. It's really it is the truest form of just getting exposure right now.
Yeah, and then that translates to Instagram, translates to Spotify, and as you start putting more shit out, people are ready for it, and there go your grassroots, there go new markets for you to go to. So that's great you're on there. What's the TikTok account?
So TikTok is at Matt Wynn Music. Like, right. I'm gonna make a post here within the next few days, like my first one, and I had some friends that have been on it and we're doing extremely well. That are awesome. I was going to be doing some collaborations with, to kind of kick it off. My friend Alexander K, my buddy Todd Cameron, and a few other people like that are just, like you said, there's no algorithm, you know. So some of those guys, you know, it's just exploding, and it's not only exploding their TikTok, but it's leaking into their Instagram and their Facebook and all that other stuff, which is great. But pretty much my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter, my TikTok, all that stuff is at Matt Wynn Music. And that's MattWynnMusic. So that's pretty much that. And Spotify and iTunes, all that stuff. I got a couple of singles that I released last year up there. So, and then we're going to be making some big announcements and different things coming up soon. So, tune in and.
Hell yeah. So, hey, we always like to wrap this up. Usually we're doing this in person and we've got our guest playing an original and things like that. Obviously we're over Skype today. Are you cool if we play, I was looking at your Spotify on here, and are you cool if we play one of these songs on here? Or if you want to send us something and want to talk about a song real quick and we throw it on the end. It could be a work tape, a demo, something that you've got that's already out, whatever you want to do. If you want to tell us about a song and then send it over to us, we can clip it on the end of this.
Sure. You're obviously more than welcome to play the songs that are already released.
I want what a song that you're really excited about. If it's one that's not necessarily out yet, that's even like a demo or a work tape, that'd be dope too.
Man, I'm trying to think of one that would be a good song for that I, wouldn't be pissing anybody off.
Yeah, that's the thing. So if you'd rather us do Dangerous or Dust, we can do one of those.
Yeah, man, that would probably be good for now. Although, I mean, I guess I could, send you a work tape or something, or of a like a demo or something that was fun too. I don't know. I guess just play the other one for now.
Okay, so tell us about Dangerous. What went into Dangerous, and who'd you write that one with?
I wrote that song with Alex Dooley and Daniel Kleindienst. They wrote at a publishing company called Banner Music.
Oh, dope. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're really great people, and they're from Missouri too. They're friends of mine. And we wrote that song. We were just talking about like what we were going to write that day. And I think someone brought up like, you know, how there's just some really badass women out there, you know, they're dangerous. And my cat just jumped up here.
I love your cat. I love the
podcat.
The podcast. So when we first started doing the podcast, Tyler at his studio used to have
a couple of cats.
He used to have a couple cats, and we called them the Podcats. So we used to have cats, and you know Carly Rogers, right?
Yeah, Carly's a good friend.
So Carly is petrified of cats. Something fun fact for you.
Really?
She hates cats.
Hates.
So so the cats could, I guess, sense that, and one of the cats, which was the orange one, I think, Cake was, I think, the name of the cat that was living at Tyler's his roommate. Yeah, it was Cake, and what was the other one's name?
Felix.
It was Felix and Cake, these two little fat cats, and Cake. So we were in Tyler's like basement studio that him and his roommates had in Nashville, and Carly was sitting in the chair, and then all of a sudden the cat started climbing up the chair and was like sitting on her shoulder, and you could just see her like squirming.
I think we had to stop for a minute to like get the cat off.
Yeah, she like was like shaking. She was shaking in her shoes. It was
funny though. I think our friend Dave Hangley was there too, and then like we got a picture of we got a picture of him like later, like you know the like evil villain pose, just like stroking the kind of like you know what you're doing right now,
like the Godfather. Petting the cat.
He was doing that with the cat instead. Yeah, exactly like that.
What's your cat's name?
This is Terry the Tiger.
Terry the Tiger. So you are the Tiger King.
He's. We actually got him before the Tiger King. The whole joke on him was Terry the Tiger was Tony the Tiger's brother.
Hey, there you go.
So that was the joke. And then we have another little cat that's over here named Lily. And that was kind of inspired by How I Met Your Mother.
Nice.
And and she's great. He's 7. She's only 10 months old. So my cats are weird. They're not like cats. They're dogs.
That's my favorite cat.
Whereas my
dog, they at the door, they flip over. She plays fetch.
Oh,
odd, man.
Wow!
It's real odd. And I love it because I'm a dog. You know, I love dogs. Like I grew up with dogs, and I've never had cats. But we travel so much, and I couldn't really have a dog yet. You know, and we were like, well, cats. You know, we just leave them food, and they'll take care of it in the litter box. They'll take care of themselves if we're gone for a weekend or something. And we got cats, and these cats are like. Everyone that I know who has cats are like, who are these? And they're like, this is weird, man. And
love
Felix and Cake are the same way.
Yeah, they're just dogs, man, that can climb walls. That's the only difference. You know, they just like pop up on the top of your refrigerator, you know, for a minute versus, you know, so he will make appearances randomly when I'm like going live or something. And then she will usually climb up behind me and just like sit.
Just perch herself there. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so it's weird, man. There's some funny videos out there of like these, you know, when I was doing the live thing, especially when I'm playing because I can't really stop them, you know. So I'm just like going, and then like back behind me, she'd be like knocking stuff off walls and things, and I'm just like, dude. I think there's actually one on my Instagram. I posted a little clip of when I went live with the Country Rebel Boys. Couple weeks ago, and she was up there and knocking things off the walls and stuff.
She knows her opportune moments.
She knows when the camera's on.
No, she's very smart. They're both very smart, and they're probably a little too smart, you know, for their own good sometimes. But it's weird. Those are the best kind of cats, the ones that act like dogs, because it freaks you out. But that's really funny. I'm gonna have to message Carly after this and tell her she has to come over and see my cats.
Yeah, or just invite her over to like come over. Hey, want to come over, hang out, have some pizza. Don't even tell her about the cats, and then just see her reaction. Oh, yeah. Just get her.
Yeah, if I tell her pizza and alcohol will be there, she'll. You
tell her Domino's and Jack Daniels. She's in.
Oh, I know. I know. She's one of my oldest friends here in Nashville. I've known her. Same thing like with me and Justin. Like I co-wrote a lot of her singles with her and stuff. So it's. Yeah, me and her go way back. She's
believe it or not, that's how Matt actually met her, was alcohol and pizza.
Yeah, she was at Doghouse, and I had to watch her pizza for her. It was like my first week in town, and she was hanging out with her crew at Doghouse, and she didn't trust her friends. So I started talking to her. I was like, just introducing myself, and then she was like, "Hey, I don't really know you, but I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Don't touch my pizza. Just keep an eye. Make sure none of these assholes touch my pizza." And she was with some of her buddies, and she came back, and I didn't touch the pizza. She gave me a slice, and we've been best friends ever since.
That sounds exactly like Carly. And I know she's met many people that way.
Yeah.
So,
she's the best.
Me and her have done some touring together and things like that. And she is someone out there like her.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, absolutely.
I love her to death.
Yeah, and some badass chick. Her, Allie Colleen, just that whole group of just badass chicks. Yeah.
Allie's another one. Exactly, badass chicks. You know, Allie's another one that's one of my close friends, and we've toured together, me and her too, and I just think the world of that whole crew there. You know, this town has been very kind to me, and the people that I've been able to meet and become close with, and a lot of that was through songwriting. You know, writing people and co-writing with people.
We should get a write sometime. Just like how we opened.
Should write sometime,
we should write sometime, and then there you go, lifelong friendships.
All I gotta say is you're gonna hear Matt sing about 3 notes and run through a wall.
Yeah, you don't want to hear me sing.
Well, you know, I've never been to Delaware, so.
Hey, dude, yeah, we could. Yeah, Delaware's dope, and New York. That's my homeland. I'm a damn Yankee. Go Yankees, go Giants, and all my New York sports. But yeah, man, when we get back to Tennessee, definitely all of us got to hang for sure.
Hell yeah, man. Let's all do it, man. We'll call Carly and Allie and all them guys. It'll be great.
Oh, dude, it'll lots of pizza, and all you boys can drink your bourbon. We'll have a damn good time.
Sounds good to me,
Hell
man.
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
Hell yeah, man. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're going to play Dangerous now. Y'all have been listening to the In the Round podcast. Make sure you check out Matt Wynn. Lots of news coming in the works. Make sure you follow him on all the socials. His name, Matt Wynn Music, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, now on TikTok, all over the place. Tyler, where can people follow us?
Yeah, so to follow us, just go to In the Round Pod on Twitter, In the Round Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. We'll get working on TikTok here soon enough. Matt's pretty funny, so maybe we can hit it gold there. But
just take me into like the southern towns, and it'll just be the damn Yankee Files, and people being like, "You ain't from around here, are you?" Because I get a lot of that when we're in middle of nowhere, Alabama, with my accent. Oh, dude,
we do him dirty in the South. Yeah, we make him eat all kinds of things. It's pretty great.
Dude, I could say they'll be like, "Where are you from, boy?" Because I know you ain't from here.
Oh, exactly.
The first show we took him out to is Boaz, Alabama, and Heflin, Alabama, which are 2 very small towns in Alabama. Yeah. And there was people going, "Are you a Christian?
Do you know your Lord? Do you know your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?" And I was like, "Yeah, just because I'm Catholic don't mean I don't know Jesus." But yeah man.
Yeah, they get all close and they're just like, "Do you know Jesus?
Do you know who your Lord and Savior is?" Yeah. Great.
I'm Catholic. I'm Catholic too. So, so I'm from the Midwest. I'm Midwest. You know, Missouri and St. Louis, in particular, is a huge Catholic population. So, I'm in the minority here too. So.
Yeah, gotta love the Bible Belt. But anyway, now without further ado, it's our buddy Matt Wynn. Here is Dangerous. Y'all have been listening to the In the Round podcast.
Like Eve with an apple, you can't resist her charm, her smile, her ruby red lips. Like whiskey in a glass, you're dying to sip. One little taste, man, you can't quit. Bitter wrong, bitter hide, bitter find a way to get her out of your mind. Look away. So good she can't be true. Heart of gold, soul of black, stops you dead in your tracks. Bitter wrong, bitter hide, bitter find a way to get her out of your mind. Look away, look away, look away before she sets your world on fire. Be afraid, stay devil